Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is Robert, and today I am bringing you to another fun little subject in relation to LCSs, LGSs, stores in general, and places in general that have more so shifted from like toys and such to card games and trading card games and the whole genre, I suppose you could call it in the end. Now, the specific area that we're going to be focusing on, I'm going to be more so cherry picking and picking out one incident that probably covers the broader spectrum, I suppose, of this area and of this problem in general. And that is going to be what I would call you could probably say the refund issue that has been occurring quite frequently lately, but the broader subject that I'm going to be covering is sort of like the stolen stock problem. And this is almost where stores say that they can't fulfill an order, say that they can't fulfill something due to the stock either being delayed, due to it being stolen. And it's becoming more and more frequent to the point that you see posts on a week-to-week basis where this just happens. And these aren't small stores, like in the scheme of things, obviously worldwide, yeah, obviously compared to like Pokemon or Bandai as actual stores, it's small, like relatively, but in comparison to the general population of stores, if you've got 5, 10, 15, 20,000 followers, I'd say that they've garnered quite a following at that point, and it's more than just, oh, that local shop that has a couple of people popping in. Now, a thing that I have an issue with is the fact that they throw around these words like stolen, delayed, or missing, and it's almost like a buzzword, it's meant to act like a get out of jail free card. I say that word and oh, I'm off the hook, here's your refund, that stock is just not going to be a thing. But the unfortunate issue is that after they mention this fact or mention this word, that stands out like anything in the end, the product is then surprisingly listed up on their website, and wouldn't you know, it's up at market, and all of a sudden they have stock. What an amazing thing that is. The best one that I've seen across the board is not allocated our original amount. So it's the whole thing of, in most cases, and this is why I say this is cherry picking, because in 9 out of 10 cases they are telling the truth. They are being true, they are being 100% and transparent, and it is the fact that instead of 10 cases they're getting 3, instead of 30 cases they're getting 8, and so on and so forth. However, there is always that unfortunate singular case just across the board that is painting a bad picture, due to the fact that people then witness resellers going into these shops and stores and places and buying boxes at market price, basically, which supposedly did not exist and did not, even arrive at the store in the first place. It's just a real turn of events. What a shock. Who would have thought, I do find it extremely ironic, because then you have people being like, well, they've got to make money, they've got to make a profit. And it's like, yes, but their store isn't the One Piece store, or it's not the Bandai store. Do you know what I mean? And even if it was, they'd have to stock the rest of the things. These are card stores or card-related places. They will carry Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball, Union Arena, Wise Schwartz. Do you know what I mean? They will carry pretty much everything, or should do. They should carry board games amongst many other things, as well as the accessories and other items that you need. The sleeves, the protectors, the everything, the play mats. Do you know what I mean? In some cases they might do Warhammer, so they will carry the paints, the brushes, the everything else. They are not strictly One Piece. Do you know what I mean? That's not their reliant thing for money, for anything in the end. And I'm not here to bash on all stores, because, as I said, it's just the small minority of them that, unfortunately in this case, are making the largest problems within the TCG space. And sadly, they don't really seem like they learn a lesson. They just delete tweets, or they ignore it, they remove posts, or they put out new posts with some information. And in 1 to 3 months, realistically, no one cares. It's basically just a virtual slap on the wrist, and that's it, so to speak, basically. And in the one cherry-picked case that we're going to look at, it is almost like their way or the highway. Do you know what I mean? Which I find extremely insufferable, to be honest. It's honestly at the point, genuinely, get off your high horses. You are not, the lord of the manor, you're not Sir Duncan, You are not in the spotlight. You are not the person that we are infatuated with at this point in time. You are a store owner abusing your position, all to just earn a little extra, of which in the process, I will say, you will lose customers as a result, and even possibly future customers. So yes, amazing job cancelling a load of orders because you don't have stock. Surprisingly, you can enjoy the 10, 20, 30, maybe even 40,000 that you've made right now. However, I will be honest, in the long run, if you've lost, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 actual customers, I think that will hurt your pockets a lot more. And of course, you know, the social media backlash, any potential customers will probably shy away because you are not a genuine store. You have shown your true colours, and they'll probably shy away. So let's go ahead and take a look at this cherry-picked one that has had multiple issues within the past year that I have seen across Twitter, but I'm only taking 2 of the occasions, and then we'll look at a couple of the other things. So, our cherry-picked place for this wonderful video is going to be Card Plaza. Card Plaza, who have had a couple of issues beforehand, which we can look into, but in short, what happened to poor Ray with the amazing Saitama profile picture was that they pre-ordered a case of OP13. Their shipment was stolen, obviously. It could have been, you know. I'm just saying there's a pattern that has occurred ever since this whole Bandai, stolen incident of EB03, that a large number of stores are just leaning on that crux of, oh, well, our stock was stolen. So anyway, they could not fulfill the order. Now, he paid $1,868.50. However, they only initially refunded $1,800, saying that they're keeping the $68.50, citing fees. Yes, a company cancelled the order, but you have to pay the fees. They pushed for a full refund, and after that, they only refunded them $50, so they still kept $18.50. Let's say they did this to 10, you know, because some places do get a lot of stock. So let's say they did this 10, $18.50, and they've cancelled them, sent the money back, $185, just free. They've basically got nearly 2 booster boxes. And let's say some of the people who didn't push for even the 50 that they would get, that's $500, in this case $450, that they would have got as a baseline out of that. And if some people didn't even push for the 50, they've kept $68.50. Imagine if that had happened in 5 out of 10 of the people. It's horrendous. It's actually horrendous. The worst part of it is the fact that they have also been blacklisted. Yes, listen to that correctly. I am going to say that slowly and simply. Their order was cancelled by the store, and because they wanted their full refund, of which they didn't even get the full refund because the place wanted to keep the fees, they blacklisted them. This is what I mean about power tripping. They go on to obviously state, if you cancel an order and deliver nothing, you refund the customer in full. Don't worry, I will not be shopping at your site again. This has been posted as well by Sakura or Sakura Card Shop, which I'm sure definitely gave it a lot more traction than they would have hoped from this Card Plaza. And yes, you can read this statement. Our direct manager has decided to go forward with refunding you with a total of $50 from the purchase price. How kind. Unfortunately, you will be added to our blacklist buyer beware program. Thank you. You should receive a refund in 3 to 5 days. How insane is that? Genuinely. And then there are just a load upon load of comments, and one of them obviously picks out the thing that I would say would come to mind personally for me, which would be the excuse that these stores would use, because OP13 is a $7,000 to $8,500 case in the end. So $1,800, I've let it go for $1,800 when I can sell it for $7,000 to $8,000, maybe even more. Why am I going to do that? Integrity, maybe. But it's okay, because a lot of you stores don't typically seem to have that nowadays. You cancel orders like nothing. You also put prices up like it's nothing. I saw OP15 for $119.99, and then I also saw 2 days later the same place put it up for $139.99. I also saw the restock of OP13 where they only put it up for $139.99, which I thought was kind of fair. However, because of how quickly that sold out, they then put it up for $159.99. So, you know. But I completely agree with the fact that because OP13 is so expensive, these stores are not really wanting to sell for the prices that they should be, which is sort of close to the MSRP retail, because they can just make more money. That's the bottom line. Now, I then had this post come up, which was the fact of, from last year, somebody had an issue with them as well, because they received their, playmat and the card, and that's what they did. That's what they did? Are you serious? I don't think I've ever witnessed a place doing it that horrendously, especially because the fact that I'm so very certain as well that when you receive most playmats, like I did, the card should be within like a sealed layer. Let's take a look at them opening it. I want to see this. Also, don't know why Twitter just takes, 7 years to load. Oh, so yeah, they've taken it out of it and have just literally just bubble wrapped it. Yeah, I'd have that reaction too. I feel so bad. Oh. Yeah, I think that's the normal reaction. Now, fortunately, in Quishy's case, this was resolved by ES Collectible for reaching out and gave them another opportunity to get the playmat and the card, obviously, for MSRP. But as you see, it should be within the plastic. So, now you have the reaction from Card Plaza, which was update. All remaining EB03 orders will ship tomorrow. As far as OP13 refunds, we've already shipped out all refunds of $18.50 based off of the purchase price. Funny, because I thought that the purchase price was $1868.50, but, they also had below the OP13 orders have shipped, which is a little confusing. They've put obviously case buys. We apologise for not having enough stock, but even though we will give out only 8 boxes or partial refund, we'll also give case purchases 1 extra pack. Ooh. Now going through their tweets, they say things along the lines of like all the cases and things have been refunded, all remaining boxes and such will ship or orders will ship. This is because they got slashed by 40 cases. It's difficult to tell. Shall we see what the reaction's like? I wonder how many orders he kept the 18 on. That could add up pretty quick. I mean, if it was 40 cases, as they say, $720 at a minimum. That's if they refunded $18.50 and not $1,800. Then otherwise they've made a hell of a lot more. You obviously got comments and such in relation to this and everything. And yeah, just what you'd expect, to be honest. Someone else, yet again, their refund was $1,800. So I can't lie. There will be people who are like devout haters who will keep on and on about this, and under consistent posts they'll probably just copy and paste the same thing because they don't want to see stores like this do any sort of business. And I kind of agree with it. I kind of believe it because it's not right and there's no justification for it in the end to act in this way and to, basically just scam people. Like, that's just straight up. You're just using them as loans. So, on a different wavelength, obviously the whole stolen thing's an issue, but recently I've seen obviously the whole thing of places somehow, having hundreds of boxes of old, releases, and yeah, $370 for OPO2 sold. I've seen probably from this place, I think it's like every other day OPO2 has been going up, and that's at least like 5 to 10 stock each time, and then it sells out. But the biggest one that I have an issue with and most disappointed with is probably Chaos. For new releases, they have been doing the fair sort of price point, of like this 115 to 120-ish. Obviously, they put OP13 for 140, but it's then the fact that you've got OPO5 and OPO2 for 500 and 700, and you can't see the review that's left like a 1-star or what have you. It's just not visible. So yeah, and then even worse than that, I saw when they restocked, because I got an email because I'm signed up to notifications for like all of them just in case, because you never know. I got the email and I was like, 400 for OPO9. Ooh, and it sold out. So yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I've bought so many of these from them as well for like this price point and below, and OP05 especially was like £90, £89 or £88 or something. So maybe even less. Was it like 85? I'm just gonna zoom in and move it to the right. It was 79.95. It was even lower. But yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, whether this has affected you or not, whether a store has tried to refund you and act like the rest, where they've said we haven't had stock, it's been cut, it's been this, it's been that, and we're not going to be able to do it, and then they haven't refunded the full amount, or whether it's been true that you've like gone to your local store and they just haven't got the stock and it's just one of those things that's affecting them. Because I can't lie, ever since the One Piece boom and then like the Dragon Ball boom that's sort of beginning as well, moving into like Union Arena, I've seen more players places that have said, that have like obviously stocked these since the beginning, that their stock is going less and less and less because more stores are like, oh, Pokemon's doing okay, but what if we got that? Maybe we should request some of that, and if it sells. So yeah, but anyway, that's gonna cover it from me. Let me know if you've opened any packs recently and what you've pulled, whether that's Pokemon, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Union Arena, anything in the end, or whether, you know, it's some sort of fun different thing, because they do all sorts. They do like ones that are for like nature, like animals and such, that the money goes to the charities, which is cool. So but yeah, just let me know, and other than that, I do hope that you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.